Like summer. How is everyone doing? Hanging in there? I feel like today, like, I can kind of feel the like, maybe it's just me too. Like, I feel it too, like the little bit of the dip. It's like it's November and it's midweek and like I feel tired. I had like woke up with a headache. I know when like my kids even this morning were tired. My partner was tired. All my soccer kids yesterday had that like it's the first week in November slump, maybe, right? But we'll get through it together. We'll get through it. I'm glad you're all here. We'll keep going with this through our personality disorders, which may make it better or worse. Hopefully, it makes it better, right? Talking about the personality disorders. I had another thought, but it left me. If it comes back, I'll share it with you. But I was thinking about something, and then it came. Oh, your drink. Went to a coffee bean this morning, and they had the Christmas drinks, the winter drinks out, and I regretted not getting. I didn't know until I got in there. I'd already ordered. I'm like, I'm ready for festive. I'm like such a big peppermint mocha fan, and I only drink it in like November and December, and then I've like killed it for the year. But I'm like, oh, it's time. I'm ready. Like ready for festive drinks. Not Christmas music yet. And my kids, they're killing me. They're killing me with the like Kelly Clarkson Winter Dreams Christmas music right now. Like, please, you guys, wait one more week or something. But this morning, all the way here was like all I heard was Winter Dreams. Anyway, share these random things with you. Okay, so we'll get back into this. We didn't get through all of them, obviously, but we got through some. So we did all the odd ones: paranoid, schizoid, schizotypal, and then antisocial and borderline. Any like lingering thoughts, questions, anything about the ones we've gone through so far before we go through a few more for now? I had a little video I wanted to show you with the signs of borderline, just because I think it's kind of a helpful like things to know for it. So I know we kind of finished that one, but I'm going to show it to you, and then we'll move on. It's like 9 kind of key things with that disorder. These two are really probably the most prominent. So I just want to make sure it's clear. So let me play that for you, and then we'll move forward from. I mean, I wrote it on the board, and that's splitting, and that's kind of that black and white thinking, that they mentioned in there and that we were talking about last time. Something that's so common with this is that like splitting, where like one way you feel this way and then the next way you feel the other. It's like these polar opposite perspectives. And they both can be true, but then you often kind of settle on a middle ground, right? So you're very split between like a black and white perspective. It's that polarization piece. And as I mentioned last time, very, very commonly like confused with CPTSD, which is something that's gaining a lot of popularity, has a lot of the same kind of symptoms, but presenting in slightly different ways and more due to like emotional trauma and attachment issues as a child. But that splitting piece was a really big one. So just as kind of a review of what we were talking about, I think that video is really helpful and going over some of the key things that happen. And when people are in these split modes, when they're all the way on one end of the spectrum, it's really hard to control those emotions. And then it leads to like self-dangerous kind of behaviors, which is why this is so dangerous to self, because people get very high levels of suicidality, self-harming behavior, and so on when they're in these like extreme states.
Doesn't everybody do splitting? I mean, this seems so very like you passionate about some things and then you sort of think about it and you're like, oh well, like
yeah, to a
I was
degree.
like I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I think everybody I know does that all the time, like
Yeah.
because you have a thought and then you digest it a little bit. But
So everybody does to a degree, right? Like, of course, we all have like, you feel one way and then we feel the other way and we kind of go back and forth. But it's this severity and the lack of control over it that distinguishes the two, right? So like someone, let's say you're in a relationship and your partner, you go to, I'm trying to think of an example, you go to kiss them and they like won't kiss you in that moment, right? So you can all of a sudden, I hate you, you never loved me, how am I ever with you? You start a fight, it leads to all of this. And then like 2 minutes later, like, I love you, you're everything to me, you're like everything that I could ever want. I'm so sorry. It's the intensity and the like kind of how quickly it happens. And it happens a lot. Like it's very extreme polarizations. We all do it to a degree, but it's the level and the damage that it causes oftentimes in someone who has like BPD. So it's a common thing that we all do, but not to the extent that someone who like has this disorder would do, if that makes sense. So it tends to cause damage, right? Like if you were in a relationship with that person, it's almost like whiplash, right? Like, wait, you were here and now you're here, and like so quickly and so intensely, versus the average person might be frustrated, but they would hopefully keep some of that to themselves instead of unleashing all of it maybe on the other person, if that makes sense. So it's a severity thing more than anything.
Just diagnosed myself.
Okay. All right.
No, but, like, things like, I think nothing, well, usually comes out of nowhere, right? There's always the buildup. So taking the trash out, it's like your one friggin' chore, like take the trash out. Take trash out. I need to. And then you're like, God damn, dude, take out the trash. Like, how hard is it?
But see, that's a rational frustration, right? Like, this could be something that was just completely created in your head over nothing that actually happened. Is the difference. Like, so you ask them to take out the trash over and over and over again, and they don't do it, right? It would be normal and typical and rational to be frustrated with that person for not doing what you asked them to do or what they're expected to do. That's like rational. Versus like maybe in your head, you decided that they should have taken out the trash. You never told them that they should have done it. And now you're angry and reacting. I'm going to divorce you. We never should have been together. You know, like so sometimes it's based, like that's another way of thinking about it. This could be based on like rational, grounded things in someone who's kind of like typically functioning versus someone who is struggling with this disorder. It might be based on completely made up or like irrational kind of thoughts.
Is it more about the level of, like, goddamn dude is really not an appropriate response, right, to trash?
I mean,
But
it could
it's
be,
like-
it could be.
You know, so
As you were
I'm
saying
not
that,
even sure that I'm asking the question correct, but I feel like the level of response seems to be the focus
It could be.
rather than all the buildup to.
Yeah.
Because, you know, your partner doesn't kiss you, but you know, they
Or take out the trash or whatever it is,
or,
right?
you know,
Yeah.
has been cold all along and you just sort of been like,
So level of response and level of reaction, right? Like, so I was laughing as you were saying, like, just take out the trash. I was thinking of my daughter, right? Paisley. It's always Paisley. I feel like I picked on Paisley this week. I picked on her in my human sexuality class too. So you weren't there, but I feel bad for saying. Paisley, every morning, get up. You need to get up. You need to get up. I need you to get out of bed. Paisley, you need to get out of Paisley. You're going to be late. Get out of bed, right? Like, at some point, if I've said that to her 5 times, it's a rational response to be like, God damn it, Paisley. Like, and I wouldn't say that to her, but I would
Why not say that to her? That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't
Is
say that, but I would say, Paisley, now, out of it. Like, I would snap at her and yell at her. And I would say that's appropriate for a situation that's been building and there's logical frustration to it, right? So it's a difference between what's a logical, rational, like, response versus like an extreme polarized response to something that was often like imaginary or perceived, right? Like, so let's say I never ask Paisley to get out of bed, but I just expect her to get up and get out of bed, and she doesn't even know that. And then I start screaming at her despite the fact that I've never even asked her, you know, and then I go in and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I love you, like, I'm not mad at you at all. Like, you know, it's just it's the response to something grounded and realistic versus like something that's often imaginary or perceived, if that helps, and the intensity of the response. Right? Yeah, but
Before I was diagnosed with PTSD,
Mhm.
I had borderline
Right.
personality.
so common.
But like 15 years ago, first it was bipolar.
Yeah.
Because of certain activities I wouldn't do. But then when it came down to it, it was like, well, it's had a lot of trauma, it's just a cycle of traumatic
Yeah.
events in my life. So what really distinguished it was the erratic mood swings
Yeah.
so quickly.
Mhm.
And even to this day, it was like, it's a trigger, like what you're saying about your dog. I've done that plenty of times.
Sure.
Sometimes I'm fine with it. Sometimes it just snaps. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Why did I react like that? So after years, 5 years of consistent therapy, I've learned how to control my triggers a lot more.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was so crazy in my head that like you really did see like black and white. I still
Yeah.
have that way of thinking, but it's it's a process really like, and there's no medication that really works for it. It's really like the DBT, the CBT, like the support you have as family and friends, like it's really a process, because for the longest time, like we really have PC where I'm like, what's wrong with me? But it
Yeah.
was years of trauma that I've covered up for so.
And you just described a very common like struggle that is for people. Okay, so borderline for a lot of years was considered like people who have borderline are often misdiagnosed, right, as either bipolar. Or now it's like some PTSD and then like this disorder. So all three of them can present kind of similarly, but CPTSD, like we sometimes say that hysteria indicates history. Okay, right? So like if something causes you to be triggered and react in a way that's way more intense than the situation, which would be like being hysterical, it probably indicates that there's a history with that trigger that pushed you there, right? And so the whole goal of therapy is to identify those triggers and then how do I respond more effectively and all this kind of stuff, right? So like, let's say that like your trigger is somebody just not listening to what you need. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the trash. It's that I needed you to do X and you didn't do it. And so there's something deeper there that maybe like is triggering that frustration and all these things leading to an intense emotional response. If there's these triggers and traumas, then it's probably CPTSD. If it's based in nothing and it's all like kind of in your head, then it's probably this, right? And so that's kind of where we start to distinguish, but it's tricky as a therapist to figure that out. It can take a long time to figure out. And so people very commonly misdiagnosed with this when it could be one of or the other. So when we look at traumas, it's probably CPTSD. When we look at like just other things that aren't based in anything, it's probably this. Is that a Sure. Yeah, like there's nothing based, it's based on nothing. Right. Yeah, you've made it up.
Fact that you could, internalize it, and be like, oh, but I asked, that's still a rational response.
Right.
It's frustrating.
It's grounded in something.
But if it's like, I've been around people that you can be going out to get lunch.
Yeah.
They drop their fork and they go out into a big spiral.
Right.
They just want to kill themselves.
Right, over nothing, the slightest thing, right? And it has nothing to do with you, but you've interpreted it to be something.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, cause like, and they'll even vocalize, like, in my house, we slept, it's like, oh, I hate myself, oh,
Yeah.
I can't do anything right. And it's, I think, but it's kind of like a cycle. It seems that the person, in my experience, easier for people to be their own foundation with something that actually their foundation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's another way of putting it, I like that, yeah.
When people say things like going through the years of like getting diagnosed with different things, it's like it's a process. Well, you may fit that part in that moment.
Yeah.
In your area of life,
Sure.
but now you've moved on because you've heightened of like mental awareness. So now you have this, and then you may move on. Like recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I'm like, all the time. Now I'm questioning everything. Like,
Right.
what was I like? Now when everyone told me you have ants in your pants, like I question everything. But
Sure.
that's also like triggers, so it's like learning how
Yeah.
to just live in that in the moment.
Mhm. Yeah, we change and we adapt, and like your diagnoses can change and adapt too, right? So again, like a very challenging one. And I like as we're saying, like if it's not based in anything, like like you said with like the dropping of the fork, like it's something that has nothing to do with you. And all of a sudden you're like, you don't like me, like that's it, I'm done. I'm like, I'm never gonna have friends, I'm gonna kill myself, it's over. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, you're back and you're okay. Like that's very much what this can look like versus like there's a trigger to it, which is more like CPTSD. Okay. Two more dramatic ones. These ones are similar, but a little bit different, which is kind of like the essence of all of them within a category, right? Histrionic personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. So histrionic is somebody who has a lot of like very shallow emotionality. Okay, so very like shallow emotionality. Everything is a huge, huge deal. Everything's very dramatic. Everything is very like, a little bit dramatic up here. But it's not necessarily like deep. It's all kind of shallow. This person is kind of always on stage, if you will. Like they want to be in the spotlight. They're always on stage, want all eyes on them, all the attention. They tend to oftentimes flirt with and be very seductive toward people. And it's often just to prove that they could have you if they wanted you. The second they have you, they don't really want you anymore, right? It was just to prove that I could get you, right? So it's a lot of like seductive, like flirting kind of behavior, right? Always wanting to be in the spotlight. Right? And it's not necessarily that you mean poorly. You just want everyone, all eyes on you, all the attention to be on you. Rapid kind of shifts of attention, very like suggestible. You can often like kind of push or direct this person in different directions very, very easily. They tend to be somewhat vain and self-centered. Everything revolves around me. And I have this person like needing to be the center of attention, needing to be in the spotlight. Again, like often very flirtatious or very friendly just to prove they can have your attention. And then when they get it, they don't want it anymore. That's very, very typical of this disorder. A little bit different than this one, where the person has like a big head and they're full of themselves. Oftentimes with histrionic, this person has very low self-esteem. And they're out there trying to prove that everyone wants them because they don't necessarily want themselves, if that makes sense. Narcissistic is somebody who is incredibly like arrogant and entitled. I always spell this one wrong. There's too many C's and S's and things. Cystic, there we go, narcissistic. So this one, much more arrogant. Right, very, very full of yourself, and you believe that you are like the best person in the world. You're very entitled. I deserve everything because I am so wonderful and amazing and great. Think of like a big head, right? There's a lot of like, they require a lot of admiration. What else do I want to write up here? There's a lot of like grandiosity. I am grand and important, almost like delusions of grandeur, like thinking you're somebody very prominent and important. Everyone wants to be like you. Everyone looks up to you. You're that wonderful, that amazing, and believing it, right? Oftentimes with that very like arrogant, entitled kind of feeling. I have a wonderful example of this that I will play for you. Such a good example. And all Bob has dependent personality disorder, and the person he decides to be dependent on is his therapist. Right. So I'll play you a little clip from this movie. Yeah, it's called transference, right? And then countertransference is when the therapist has feelings toward the client. But yes, it's relatively common, but not to the degree that he goes to, right? You hope. Yeah. Yeah, you often pick somebody, right? Like it could be a friend, family member, therapist, a partner, right? You often like pick a person and then you Velcro to, right? And then like nothing you can do otherwise. Okay, so where did I remember how I saved it here? There it is. What about Bob? Such a great movie. Older movie, but good movie.
I know that you don't like flattery, but if there's anyone I know who could win the Nobel Prize, it's you.
Well, I suppose I could find an hour for him sometime after Labor Day. Okay, I'll work him in for an interview.
Feel good? Feel great? I feel wonderful. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful. Well, I get dizzy spells, nausea, cold sweats, hot sweats, fever blisters, difficulty breathing, difficulty swallowing, blurred vision, involuntary trembling, dead hands, numb lips, fingernail sensitivity, pelvic discomfort.
So the real question is, what is the crisis, Bob? What is it that you are truly afraid of?
Vacation.
Oh, certainly, my secretary told you. As of this afternoon, I'm taking my family on vacation until Labor Day.
Yes, this is Bob Wiley. I'm a patient of Dr. Marvin's. I have to speak with him right away. It's urgent.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wiley, but Dr. Marvin's
It's
out of...
Bob. And you are?
Betty.
Betty, hi.
Bob, Dr. Marvin's out of town and Dr. Harmon's taking his calls.
I know that, Betty. But you could call him on the other line and tell him that I'm on hold on the other line, couldn't you please?
This is Dr. Marvin. What's the problem, Bob?
Dr. Marvin, how's the weather up there?
What?
How's your brood? You all getting a chance to relax?
Bob, I thought I made it clear to you that I'm on vacation.
Well, I know, but I'm just worse than usual this time, really bad.
Bob, if this is really an emergency, go to the emergency room. And if it isn't, call Dr. Harmon. I'm sure he can help you.
Well, I'd just feel so much better if I knew where you were. It's Martha's Vineyard, right?
Bob.
Well, can't we just talk?
Yes, we can. In my office, after Labor Day.
After you're back from Fire Island, huh?
Goodbye, Bob.
What, you want to keep Maine all to yourself?
Goodbye, Bob.
Is this a fake hang-up? It's a fake hang-up. Dr. Marvin! Dr. Leo Marvin! Dr. Marvin! Dr. Marvin! Dr. Leo Marvin!
Oh, my God.
Dr. Marvin! Oh, I really appreciate this. Mmm. 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 This is delicious. Mmm. Mmm. Will you stop that, please?
Leo, I see salt and pepper. Is there a salt substitute?
I'll get it. And don't call me Leo.
But you said in your office that I could call you Leo.
That was in my office. In my home, I'd like you to call me Dr. Marvin. Good day, sunshine.
Okay. Really like good movie. So he and old but good. So he
How many of these are the total that we covered?
10. And feel free to check what you got with the people around you. Try to take a few more minutes and we can quickly go through them and I'll collect data. Yeah. Antisocial. So you have 4 that meaning 3 and 3. These 3. And then the first 3 can be dramatic, which are paranoid, schizoid, and schizotype. Here's this slide. All the way back. Oops. Yeah, it was just these 3. Schizotype was knee pads. Schizoid Batman.
obviously my non-linear style is not helping. There should be one of each.
Yeah, there's two that aren't covered. Like there's only what, 8 people?
Alright.
You look accomplished. These two are super. Because they're gonna be like, the rest are open.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that is true.
And you can kind of like the, for teachers, you just like to see like.
History on the-
Maybe the- It's okay. It's a Peter.
Dramatic.
But the rest are. Okay, so the Peter is for desktop. 5 minutes each for John, for that quarter. But every. That's the story.
I'm sorry, that was doorknob.
Hey, in like a minute, let's go over it really quickly together, just so that you have the answers.
Honestly, it's that kind of like fine. So people.
That's where I was at. Donna and Sherry.
Yeah, so they're often confused, so who's Donna? Yeah.
Great.
I've gone the other one because it mentioned Sherry was funny, but it was not so that.
Oh, okay, yeah, because she wants to be like everyone else, paying attention to her, it's that like center of attention talking.
Yeah, I thought Sherry had done that rating.
Oh, yeah, no, so don't, Sherry, right?
Sherry for his count.
But after, but like, because she took 4, you didn't agree to take that.
Yeah, I got you.
Right? We'll go back to the form.
Okay.
Okay, so really quickly, just so we don't run out of time, and if you don't have it right, that's okay, that's not the point, it's just for you to get practice with this. So Donna, what do we have for Donna? Somebody yell it out. Histrionic, right? So, that's what fits her best. How about William? Schizotypal, yes, schizo, like, some of these are so hard to pronounce, right? Like, histrionic is the worst. They have made it real fun. Sherry. Borderline of BPD, Winston. Peter. Peter's looking good, right? Couple problems. Like, I don't think Peter, but his personality is very attractive apparently. I don't know. 5 minutes for everyone, all right, Peter. Am I recording this? I should turn it off. I should tell you, while you were working on this, my partner said, I just got, wait, ready? My partner sent me a text. It said, okay, wait. Friday morning, how about you pick up the kids, go get coffee, then you take Kaya to school, then you come to me, and then you take Kaya off, and then we go here, and they're like, but you know what? I appreciate that. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do as long as I don't deviate from the list. All good. Okay. How about Doreen? Daryl? And John. Perfect. Okay, make sure your first and last name is on there. And if you want to turn those into me, we'll wrap up causes and treatments on Monday, and then we'll move on to the chapter 14 on childhood. All right. I have some extras of these too if you want one. I guess I have some extras up here if you'd like to grab. All right.
Well, right here.